What's going on YouTube? This is your water chocolate bag. Yeah, this is gonna be a quick video, as y'all know. But anyway, I'm gonna discuss a little bit with Doja Cat and Lana Del Rey. But anyway, with Doja Cat, I've been a fan of hers for a couple years now, y'all. And a little bit of a rundown with her. She's 24 years old. She's a rapper slash singer. Cause I've known her for being like more like a independent indies type of artist, but now she's sort of hit mainstream. I know she was signed with Jay-Z's record company. I think they released her, and now she's with someone else now. But anyway, her and Nicki Minaj had a hit song on the billboards. They hit #1 below Beyonce, and you know Beyonce, my girl. Now I allow that, but yeah, they had a #1 song. But with her coming out, hitting mainstream, a lot of things have been coming out like regarding her, and I was shocked. I was like, "Damn! Like, where have I been?" But anyway, they show video clips of her. It's a chat thing with racist. It was like a little chat thing. Looks like the squares with a lot of, well, mostly Caucasian men and women, and she was like the only black woman, well, biracial woman, and they were talking, well, saying the N word, saying a lot of derogatory things regarding black people, and she was sort of co-signing. She looked like she was almost being playful, like she was almost aroused. She was enjoying it, and she was also adding her commentary as well when they was denigrating black people and saying the N word and stuff like that. And it's shocking because I thought that she was sort of a woman, because even listening to her songs that I listened to prior and her video, she seemed like she was very comfortable in her skin, who she was as a person that's biracial or mixed, but apparently not, y'all. Like, she mentioned she had a song that's called "Didn't You Know," and she was mocking black men and women being murdered by the police. And the phrase "Didn't you know?" or "Didn't you?" is, I think it's like DINDU, but it was sort of like something that was derived, that came about with the alt-right movement with black people. Like, didn't you know? Like, well, they had to be criminals. They had to be something. The police wouldn't just murder anyone or a black person. So it was sort of mocking exactly their journey and what happened to them, which is a lie. Like, we know what happened with these stories. But I was just shocked. I was like, damn, like, wow, where have I been? And she also has talked about her hair. She has 4C hair. And she talked about how she doesn't like her hair texture. She doesn't like it. She doesn't really care for who she is. And even a video that I saw prior, it's almost, well, even with the squares with the racist men and the racist or outright, it almost seemed like she was sort of trying to win them over. She was trying to prove herself to the white side that she was credible, that she was desirable. And I was just shocked. I was like, wow, Doja Cat, I didn't know she got down like that. I didn't think that she was that. I thought that she was eccentric and had a different personality, which I loved, and a different style, but I didn't realize how deep it went. And I don't think a lot of people, well, they see, but she's biracial or mixed. And a lot of times, black people, we sort of promote these type of people. Not to say that they're not allies of ours, not to say that they're not people of color, but this girl grew up with a black father whom she stated she's never met, and her mom is white. She doesn't identify with her blackness. She doesn't know who she is as a black woman. And I think her mom is Jewish. So in her, I see a lot of identity issues. She doesn't quite know who she is. She doesn't identify with us. She doesn't, from phrases and songs, she doesn't want to be classified in the same category as black. It appears she has a lot of issues regarding her identity and who she is. And I just don't get this, why, especially the entertainment world and black people in general, we promote these people into black spaces. People that are biracial, people that are mixed. I'm not saying that we don't have allies. I'm not saying that most don't identify with being black. But in this category, this young lady, this young woman does not identify as being a person of color or a black person. She doesn't. She doesn't. She has a, and people are coming at her strong, which I understand. But what about the mom? The mom knew that she was going to have a child that was mixed or biracial. Why didn't you point her out the books or teachings or learnings regarding her culture, her side, regarding her father, who she is? But this young woman has not a clue. It's crazy. And the thing is, I think the biggest perpetrators are black men. Like in society, we promote this light skin. I've heard people say light skin, curly hair. This is what they want to see. This is what they want to see. They promote biracial, light skin, mixed to black spaces, almost like to fight for people of color. When certain numbers of these people can identify with our issues, exactly what we've been through, how we're identified as a dark-skinned black woman, a dark-skinned black man. They don't have a clue when they're propelled or marketed toward black people, especially black men. These type of people are marketed toward greatness, toward being desirable, toward, especially in the entertainment world. And even as black people, we have a lot of identity issues as well, which everything we know dates back to slavery. We think desirable is having lighter skin, having European, Eurocentric features regarding nose, cheekbones, lips, stuff like that. We think that that's desirable, that that's what people want. And even now, I have friends that I've mentioned, oh, well, I don't want to date anyone that's dark skinned. Or I'm like, well, what's wrong with a dark skinned person? Like me, you have to be light. Like you have to have curly hair. But just things that have been passed down from slavery, from centuries to centuries, decades, we've sort of embodied exactly what our oppressors want us to think regarding black skin. What's loved, what's desirable, what's beautiful. And a lot of us don't love ourselves. We don't love our African or black features. We want to skew to more the European, Eurocentric features, which society points out that that's beautiful. We don't, even Doja Cat, a lot of these people, artists, even though I love Beyonce, but would she be as favorable, as propelled if she was a dark skinned woman? I don't think so. I'm not trying to negate that she's not talented, but I think that we promote sort of a certain type of woman, or especially, entertainer, to take on the torch. And I think this young lady is suffering with a lot of identity issues. She doesn't know exactly who she is as a person, as a woman. And I think her mom didn't, baby, help her a lot, because if you think, like, she identifies more with her white side, but sometimes it's sort of in limbo, because, I mean, if that's how she's been shown, and she hasn't been, she didn't research, or the mom didn't show her or express, like, you're both sides, or this is who you are, or let me give you some insight into your heritage, then you could be lost. And apparently this young woman is lost. Like, anytime you mock black people being murdered by police, like with a song like that, like that's just crazy. That's insane. But why do we promote these type of people? Like, why do we fight the fight for mixed or biracial people to be the head of black issues? I'm not saying that they're not black, but why do we do that? We want to pick and choose and bring certain people in that might not necessarily identify or think the way we think. So I'm not saying that other biracial and mixed people might not think like people of color, which they are people of color, but people with enriched or darker skin or melanin in rich people. But why do we want to bring them in to the threshold when they don't necessarily think the way we think, or not allies the way they should be? So I want people to comment below with that. And also, she referenced, the only thing good about being her was that she was light skinned and she was thick. And when we say thick, we think, black women are shapely, curvy. And I think that she with that statement, I think she's correct, like, regarding what society wants, what we imagine is beautiful, what people of color, especially black men, are the perpetrators of this, what they assumed is beauty. They see a light-skinned woman with curly hair or whatever, and a body, a curvy body, and that's what they want. That's what they desire as beauty. Dark skin, we don't get that privilege. We just don't. We don't. We pass over black men and women, and that's just how that works. That's just how that works. People want they don't desire us as being attractive or beautiful, and that's just how society does it. It goes back to slavery, and it's shit. I would say the Middle Passage, the Atlantic slave trade, and you know the rest. But anyway, let's get into Lana Del Rey. She's a singer, and she wrote a statement regarding Nicki Minaj, Ariana Grande, Doja Cat, and I forgot that other rapper name. But anyway, it was all women of color, and she just said how she's held to a higher standard, like regarding music and being an entertainer, and how they're promoted by talking about sexuality and sex and being graphic. But my thing is with this lady, I just think it's an issue because certain people, if they're not held accountable, or if they see people of color in white spaces, then it's an issue. I think with her, it comes off bad because you see all the women that she named or went after are women of color that are doing well, that are hitting number 1, 2, and 3 on the charts. She didn't name Taylor Swift. She didn't name that Gomez lady. She didn't name these other people that have done well on the charts. But it's like she's coming after these women of color that are doing well. So it could be a little bit off-putting because you're like, well, shit, it's other people on there as well. So why are you just coming after these black women or women of color for doing well on the charts? And I just think that it's a different standard with that. She has her own lane. They have their own lane, and what's wrong with that? But why come after these women because you're shocked? She didn't, even her reference or the comment, she sort of diminished their accomplishments. You didn't say that they're doing well, they're great writers, they're, you know, hitting the charts. But it was almost like, well, I think she referenced like the feminist movement, like she's held accountable or to different standards. I'm like, no, you're not. These are black women. They're held more standards than you are. Like, come on now. But it just came off a little squirmish and a little bit of picking sides because I'm like, it's other people that you could compare yourself with regarding the charts and doing well, but you want to compare yourself to these black women like they're these sex kittens or promoting salacious, nasty music without any type of education, any type of direction, any type of nothing, just sex kittens that are for the masses, and I don't agree with that. So I think she came off just a little bit too much with that. I think she should just step back, baby. Oh, the other girl was Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah, but I'm just like, why are you directing yourself at these black women? Are you upset that they're hitting number 1 on the charts, that they're doing well predominantly, and the people of color are doing well on the charts, and you're not in there? Like, you're held to a higher standard? No. And even with the feminist movement, a lot of black women I've talked to felt like they were never a part of the feminist movement. It was sort of directed toward white women. It wasn't never like aimed at all women. White women, they benefited most, even with the I forgot that act. Oh Lord. But even with that act, damn, I forgot that act. Damn. But anyway, white women, they benefited most, like regarding stuff like this. Black women, they did not. Black men a little bit, but black women were the cause. They benefited most. So I mean, with her point, I don't know. But peace and blessings. Comment below, y'all. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.